Hi everyone, my name is Shannon. Welcome to King Family Farm and welcome to the room in my basement where I start all of our seeds. I don't have a greenhouse, not a heated one. I have a high tunnel that I push the seeds in with, but all of my seeds are started indoors on racks just like this. So I've moved this rack here in front of the calendar, as you can see, just for filming purposes. I normally keep it over by the window, but the lighting from the window makes it really hard to see. So if you're just starting out, all you need is a shelf or a table somewhere and some lights. And you don't have to get as fancy as this. As if you're looking to push a little more and grow a little bit more, expand what you're doing, these racks work really, really well. But if you just want to do one shelf, you're only going to need one set of lights, one fan, make it really, really simple. All of the stuff I'm going to show you today, I'm going to link down below in the description. You'll be able to see all the items and purchase from there if you'd like. And so let's get this started. So what we have here is all the pieces for this. So I purchased these. This is an LED light bar. The light plugs in on the end. I buy these off Amazon and I connect them here. You can use zip ties to hold them up, but you don't really need to. It depends on what you're doing, but for the wire rack, you don't need to. This is the connector that plugs in the end, and what I do is I put this up in here and I go through the wire end and I use it. They don't weigh anything. And if I can just, connect it. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect that to the light that's already back here. And it's right here. You can see it. And all that's going to do is help hold it in place. So I like 2 lights per shelf. Just like that. So there's the wire there. And then on this side, what I'm going to do is it comes with, every single bar comes with its own, there it is. There's the switch and the plug. And then this end goes into the light. And we're just going to plug this in right through the end like that. Now the light's in place. Doesn't weigh anything, but it's where it needs to be, and that'll hold it up. And I have found these to be quite sturdy, even with all the water that kind of trickles through when you're watering your stuff. So the next piece of equipment that I like to have is a power bar, and the power bar is zip tied to the rack at a height where I can plug all the stuff into it and also plug it into the wall. Into the power bar, I plug one of these timers, and just a simple mechanical timer. They're not expensive, but your seedlings need at least 16 hours of light per day or they get really, really leggy. So this allows me to not have to remember to turn the lights on and off. It does it automatically. You can set it to come on whatever time you want. These are really easy to do, much easier than digital, mechanical. Great. So we're going to plug this into the power bar. Right at the top is where I prefer it. Now, because I have multiple shelves and multiple sets of lights, I plug it in. I plug the lights into this because I like each shelf to be done separately, because the switch I showed you, you could actually turn the shelf off when you're not using it. And then when you put plants on that shelf, you can turn the switch on and it's already plugged into the timer. So this gets plugged into the side of the timer because there's only 2 outlets. And then what we're going to do is we're going to plug this into the timer. And turn the switch on, and there's light. So the next item that I really, really like, now this is a set of 2, and you can get them individually. And you don't have to use these. You can get just a regular fan, little tabletop fan, but your seedlings will do significantly better if they have a slight breeze blowing on them all the time. It helps keep bacteria away. and stops molds from forming, stuff like that. So just that air circulation is really good. So what these are a couple of USB computer fans. And what you do is, you can see there's this one on the upper shelf, and it is just zip tied right on to the shelf. So the next one, these two are together, they're like tied together. But what I would do is take this one, which is closest, plug it in to the one above. Oop, no, doing that wrong. Plug that in, and then they're all connected. And then what you do is you take one of these from like a cell phone, and you plug the USB into this, into the power bar. Now, you want the USB plugged directly into the power bar all the time. So you don't want to put the fan on the timer. You want to put the fan on, just on all the time, because you want it to run at night. When you want it to run at night, when your lights turn off, you still want the fan to be going. So you just plug that in separately. And now these are all tied together. So this one will get hung on this shelf, and then this one will go down a shelf, because I have a five shelf setup here, and the fans run all the time. They use very, very minimal power. They're super, super quiet. I can't hear them running hardly at all. I know when they're not on, but I don't even know if you can hear them. It's just really quite quiet, but it's just enough of a breeze. You can feel it all the way across the shelf, which is what you really need. And that's about it. So most houses are warm enough that you don't actually need to start your seedlings on heat. However, they will germinate faster and get going faster if it is 70 degrees in the soil, not the air temperature, the soil. So one of the things I like to use is one of these. This is a Seedling Heat Mat. Now, I don't normally put them on my shelf. I have a separate table where I do that. And then once they've germinated, I put them on the shelf. But you could put this right on your shelf. And again, plug this into the power bar, not into the timer that's in the power bar, but straight to the power bar. Plug it in. Start your seedlings on that. And then once your seedlings are going, you don't need this anymore. Particularly if your room is 70 degrees and above, then you're fine. The room in my house, this is not 70 degrees. It's about 65 in here. So I absolutely use the Seedling Heat Mats. And then once things get going, I take them off the heat, and they don't really need it anymore. These do not get hot, so you can zip tie, you can touch them. They're not hot, they're LED lights. So this is how I start all my seedlings. This shelf itself is 18 inches deep. It holds it'll take a regular 10-20 tray, this is a 10-20 size tray with 128 cells, and it fits really nicely. And you just have the two lights, and it's enough. And when you want to get closer to the lights, you can just put it up on something nice and close to the light. The other thing you can do is you could put your lights on like a retractable item and allow it to the light to be dropped down and lifted back up. And that works as well. It works a little bit better if you're using a shop light, which you could pick up at any hardware store like Home Hardware, Home Depot, something like that. And they work really well. But for us, this is what I use. They use very minimal electricity. We notice a slight bump in our power bill when I start doing this, but that's about it. So I will link all of these items down below, and I hope you guys give this a try. It's really simple setup. It'll work for you. If you only need one shelf, which most home gardeners, if you're just getting started, you only need one shelf. So you don't have to buy a whole rack. You can just, if you've got a rack in your pantry, you can just put some lights on it, put this on a table, build something small. This will work. But this is how we do it. I have a 24-inch wide rack as well that I use that works really, really well. And I can get a stunning amount of seeds on this rack. And it's also on wheels. Like it moves around, so I can just roll it wherever I need it to be, plug it in, away we go. So I hope this helps everybody. If you have other ideas that you like to use, don't be afraid to share them in the comments with people. That's how we all learn. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you here next time on the farm.